Hello, my bookish friends, it's Dano, and today I am doing my October reads and November reading journal set up. But before we start with that, I'm going in and updating some of the Magical Readathon journal. So I have started on the what's it called? The Novice Path, and slowly starting my way through that world. So some of the reads that I did this month, actually all the reads that I did this month, also relate to that. So just going in and setting up the start of that page. And so what I've done is I've printed headers on washi paper. But as you can see, I hate having my nails done, and you'll see my nails for quite a few weeks, but I struggle so bad with pulling things off the paper and being able to pick things up when I've got nails on. So this is a hard challenge for me. But anyway, I get there in the end. But yes, as I said, I have printed all these out on washi paper. It just means that it's not as thick. When you start really doing lots of printing of stickers and everything, your books become really thick. So I just found printing on sticker paper, on washi paper, just keeps things nice and fine. And then I'm just going in with my pen and writing in the title and who it's by, and then finding the next header, which I stuffed this bit up and accidentally cut off a bit of the third place on the map and pick it all up with this one. I do realize, I think it's at the very end. I don't even think I fix it on camera, but I do eventually go back. I think it's like the next day that I realize what I've done, and go back in and fix that. So it should just say Ashthorn. I can't actually read it from here. Tree, not have ruin on the end of it, because that belongs to the next title. But anyway, I'm putting away that book and going into my current reading journal and starting to fill out my October reads. So I had a pretty decent month this month. I read 3 different books, and I'll be going in and marking all those off. So I did start off with City of the Bones by V.E. Schwab. This is a middle grade series, and it follows Cassie Blake, who can see dead people. The storyline's really cute. It's fun. It's fast-paced. It's so easy to read. And I really, really enjoy Victoria Schwab's writing style. Everything I've read of hers, I have absolutely loved. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I must have gone off for something and clearly didn't cut this. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the book still. So I really enjoy her writing style. I absolutely loved the world in this, because I have been to Edinburgh. It was just so easy to follow along. I knew exactly where they were. The tour that they did, I had been on that tour. I've been down those alleyways. So I felt like I was back there, and I absolutely loved that. That was amazing, and I really enjoyed that part of the book. I will say though, because it's a middle grade, I went into it understanding that I am not the right target audience for the book. I am a lot older than who it is intended for. So I'm not harping on about how the storyline was pretty easy and everything was sort of, you could guess what was going to happen, because, you know, it's meant for smaller children. So for them, it's a great read. For me, it was a little bit predictable, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I did read the entire series this month. So I think I read the first 2 books in the row, then had a break, and then came back to the last one. I did notice here, in that book tracker thing, I had gone and marked all the edges to put the books down in black, and I am making note of that for my 2025 reading journal setup, because it shows through the washing paper. So I am going to make sure that when I set my 2025 journal up, that I only go in with a light grey, just so you can see sort of where the books are meant to go, but not have it come through the washi paper too much. So yes, I have made note of that. I'm now currently going in and setting up my City of Ghost review page. So for this journal, I'm just going to have 3 reviews to a page, and not do full elaborate spreads or anything like that. Just have the bare bones of a review on there. And then with my new journal, I'd like to get a bit more into decorating and having, I think, half pages. I think when I started going in with this one, I found thirds too constrictive. So even for my November reads, I think I'm going to allow myself half a page. Even if I don't have that much room for all of the reviews that I want to do, if I don't have enough content for all the reviews, I'd prefer to have the space rather than limiting what I want to say. But anyway, with these reviews, I am going in and putting my star rating. I've printed them out on washi paper as well, so little stars, and then going in to fill in what my star rating was for them, as well as writing down the CAWPILE rating system. So that's from Book Roast, and I have tweaked that slightly just for how I like to break things down with the half stars and where I sort of distribute my ratings a little bit. So I have slightly modified that. But I'm also tracking in the series, the number of the book in the series, the age that it's intended for. It really irks me that people still to this day say YA as a genre. YA is not and should no longer be treated as a genre. It's an age bracket. It's an intended audience bracket. Within YA, you have the genres of fantasy, romance, romantasy, historical fiction. Age brackets to me should no longer be used as a genre. I'm sorry, but it's a thing. So I just want to track the age bracket, the intended audience age of the books that I'm reading. So whether it's a middle grade, a young adult, a new adult, or an adult book. And the way I sort of look at it is your young adult is intended for audiences from that 14 to 18 years, the characters are within those age brackets. Middle grade to me is that 9 to 14, 15 sort of age bracket. Sorry if they don't actually equal what middle grade is in school, because I'm not American, so I don't really know. But to me, that's sort of those age brackets. New adult is that sort of 18 to 25, maybe 30 years of age for the characters. And then adult is anything after the sort of the 25 mark. So there's a little bit of a crossover area. Yes, I get that. But to me, it's more about the character ages and the intended audience age. So yes. Anyway, I'm back on a different day, going back into do this. I did this over a couple of days just to give myself a break, and also because I wanted to do things. So I got really excited. So I wanted to put some stuff in at the start. But I'm going back in with Tunnel of the Bones, and then I also read Fourth Wing, which I loved. After that, I went back to V. Schwab and read I'm blanking on the name of it. Is it Bridge of Lost Souls? That's a bad one. Anyway. And then I read Ninth House and Hellbent. So Tunnel of Bones was the next book that I picked up, and this is the second book in the Cassidy Blake series by Victoria Schwab. So this time we head to Paris, which again, I've been there. I really enjoyed the world. I could feel like I was back in Paris, so I really enjoyed that aspect of the book. Again, it's a very predictable read. It's a very quick-paced book, though. Easily read it in one day, just for something light and fun. Bridge of Souls, that's what that book is. So I really enjoyed it. I then read Fourth Wing. That book definitely deserves the hype, in my opinion. I absolutely loved it. I flew through it. I just thoroughly enjoyed it and got immersed in it. I did that one as an immersive read, so I was reading it while listening to the audiobook, and oh my goodness, I have found my new favourite way of reading. It does definitely take me longer to read like that, but it is so good, especially for fantasy books where I struggle with pronunciation of names. So when I read, especially like harder names, where fantasies, you've got different things like Basgiath, I wouldn't know how that's pronounced. So in my head, I would really struggle to read it because I just keep looking and be like, I don't know what that word is. But anyway, having someone narrate the book while reading it definitely helps with that. And I loved it. It was so enjoyable. I really loved the characters in Fourth Wing. I cannot wait to get my hands on the next book. I'm just waiting to get it from the library and I will devour it. So thoroughly enjoyed Fourth Wing. It was a 5-star read for me. Bridge of Souls was up next. This was the third and final book in the Cassidy Blake series by Victoria Schwab. Again, very easy read. This one was set in New Orleans. I went to New Orleans as a kid, but I definitely didn't do any of the ghost tours or anything at that age. So it was fun getting to be somewhere else that I don't really remember and can't picture as vividly. But I still got that same feeling from her writing that I can be there. She does really good world building and like allowing you to be in that place, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Again, I'm not the intended audience for that book. I'm not the intended age bracket. So it's definitely I can see all that coming. But it was fun. It was cute. I love the characters. I love Jacob and Cassidy and their interactions to each other. I love in the series how we got to see more and more of Jacob's backstory and how he came to be, but also we saw Cassidy sort of opening up to other people. She was very standoffish at the start, but by the end of it she developed friendships, which was sweet, and it was just nice and fun and sweet. After that I read Ninth House. Not gonna lie, this book, it took me a little bit to get into. I found the changing of chapters and going back and forth pretty confusing, and I'd forget what was happening when. I kind of needed a timeline at the start of like dot points to keep track of and be like, oh yeah, that happened then. Oh my goodness, what is happening outside? Okay, they're just making as much noise as possible. So I found that a bit tricky, but once I got halfway through Ninth House, I loved it. I was wrapped in it. I was just so enthralled with what was going on. It wasn't at all what I was expecting it to be. I sort of went in thinking that the book was all about secret societies and like more sticking with those secret societies rather than where it sort of went off to. But I'm not mad about it. And then lastly, I read Hellbent, which definitely was not what I was expecting. But again, really enjoyed it. It's the second book in, what's the series called? Alex Stern series by Leigh Bardugo. So it wraps up where Ninth House left off. Again, really enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it as much looking back on it as I did Ninth House, just because it sort of went in a stranger direction for me. I think more it's just I had too many ideas about it being just about secret societies and sort of that being the idea behind the book. I don't know. Anyway, I still really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed all the books that I read this month, which is amazing. And although I didn't read as much as I would have liked, I'm still pretty happy with the amount that I did read. So I read 6 books, which, it's still more than one a week, so that's okay. And now I'm going in and setting up my November spread and really struggling with that sticker. As I said, as soon as I have nails on, I just struggle. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with a little header, and then I will be creating my calendar, which I just like to mark out on a calendar view, sort of where my reading is. And so I get a sense of how long books it take me to read and things like that. So I just find it a nice little plan. And it does take me a little bit to set this up. But I have some really cool reads that I'm excited for November, so I'll see how I go. I'm continuing on with my Novice Path journey. I'm hoping to have that wrapped up by the end of November and then be starting on the Gear Up challenges for the Magical Readathon so that I can start with, the spring equinox as soon as I'm done with all that. So my plan is to sort of do the spring and autumn from the very first year and light fall hopefully before the actual spring equinox for 2025, and then continue back with going back through all the different past challenges. Otherwise, I don't know, because I kind of want to do 2025 at the same time as everyone else. I don't really want to be doing other challenges while that's happening, so I kind of feel like I need to do the 2025 stuff at the same time and then just catch up around that. But we'll see how I go. I don't know what my book will look like. But anyway, right now I'm putting down my section for readathon reads, my section for book club reads. So it's just where I can list out any books that I did read that's a part of a readathon or a part of a book club, or if I do any buddy reads. If you want to do a buddy read with me, I would love that. I don't really have any reading buddies, so the buddy read section at the moment sort of will be pretty sad. Now I'm just going in with some PET tape that I got from Journal Say. I love this. It's such a cute vibe. The one thing I did do is I went through with my little knife and cut around the things before getting it out, and I found this so much easier to get them off just by doing a little kiss cut with my Stanley knife rather than cutting the actual images out with scissors and then having to peel it off the backing. So this is definitely what I'm going to be doing in future, just for these tapes that aren't already kiss cut. But I love these vibes. It's such a cool theme. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, well, that's it. That's my flip through, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Bye.